Hi there, Victor Pross speaking to you, anarchist artist. Okay, today we're going to talk about plutocracy. Okay, so plutocracy, plutocracy defines a society or a system ruled and dominated by the small minority of the top wealthiest citizens. Now, this is an argument that has been advanced by your garden variety leftists or socialists, for that matter. The idea here is that free market capitalism, free market, unfettered, unregulated, laissez-faire free market capitalism would lead to a rule by the wealthy and the rich at the expense of everybody else. That would be a plutocracy. It's its own form of it's a different take on dictatorship. In this case, it would be the powerful minority that would be ruling the majority. By the sheer fact of their wealth, because they are the wealthy. So that's the whole idea of plutocracy. And as I said, this is a standard garden variety argument that's advanced by leftists or out communists or socialists. But this argument has been given new life by a movement called the Zeitgeist movement, so-called RBE, resource-based economy advocates. And it's been given new life by them. The argument still remains the same. It's the same false argument, but they've just taken it over with a new relish, and they're pouncing on it like a monkey on a snare drum. So most of their arguments are taken by the left, so they're just trying to breathe new life into them. So that's the idea of plutocracy. Okay, now let's just take a historical glance and leave the theory and the abstract, unfounded abstractions to the side for now. And what we see in history is that all the historical evidence shows, both logically and empirically, that it's the state, not the market, that is the culprit. That the state and the market are two different social phenomena, and that the state has been the major culprit, as I say, for all the evils that any garden variety socialist and now the Zeitgeist people would indicate. Now, the free market, to the degree where freedom of thought and action, as defined by the anarchist, has been given expression, whenever this has been given expression, that was the cause and the root of the enormous wealth that we take for granted today. There's no getting away from it, that in order for all the standard of living such as it is, with all the technological wizardry and time-saving, labor-saving devices that we have, was given to us by the free market, to the extent where freedom was permitted and allowed to be given form and expression. That thought, that production, that trade, the division of labor, that this is the fact and the source of wealth. Now, it's the state that is the blood-drenched parasite that feasts upon a productive population. The state, or the government, is not a creative enterprise. They don't produce things. They hold a monopoly on force. That's what the state is. Physical force. That is the opposite of voluntary action, force, and they hold a monopoly on force. The market is about voluntarism. Now, a brazen intellectual package deal, and usually put over on us by the theoreticians of statism and leftists, and now RBE advocates, is the equation of or conflation, for that matter, conflating of economic power with political power. An intellectual package deal that's trying to be put over on us is the equation of economic power with political power. So let's start from scratch. What is the basic, the essential, the crucial principle that differentiates freedom from slavery? It is the principle of voluntary action versus physical coercion or compulsion. This is the difference between political power and economic power. Now, the difference between political power and economic power, between the state and any private organization, is the fact that a government holds a legal monopoly on the use of force. This is political power. Now, what is economic power? Just to emphasize the power word there, because they're trying to blur this, in a very slimy intellectual way by using the word power. Like wealth, they have power. The wealthy have power. But what is economic power? It is the power to produce and to trade what one has produced. That which is the free market in a free economy, where no person can use physical coercion against anyone. That's the principle. That's either abided by or it's not. Now, economic power can be achieved only by voluntary means, by the voluntary choice and agreement of all those who participate in the process of production and trade. That's where you find economic power. Economic power is exercised by means of a positive, by offering people an incentive, a payment, a value. Political power, on the other hand, is exercised by means of a negative, by the threat of punishment, injury, imprisonment, destruction. Now, this is the crucial fundamental principle. So the difference between political power and economic power, between the state and any private organization, is the fact that a government holds a legal monopoly on the use of physical force. There's a reason why this is being emphasized greatly, especially by me. So it's important to make the fundamental distinctions. Now, a business owner or an entrepreneur in an anarchist free market society would not hold a monopoly on the money supply. Okay, it's a fact that all offensive wars by imperialist powers, by states and by governments, what they did is they inflated nearly every atom out of the currency to which they hold a monopoly to fund wars of aggression. So you would not find this in a free market anarchist capitalist society. Okay, there would be competition when it comes to the money supply or any facilitator of trade or whatever would take place in a free market. Now, by holding a monopoly on the money supply, that was how governments and states imposed any war of aggression. It was only by means that they could do that. And it also took an enormous tons of propaganda to the so-called state-mandated schools of education. They took over the education of people, and that's the only form of brainwashing that we have to be concerned with, not with the advertisers. Not with the advertisers. It begins right at birth, right from the moment when the child in his most formative years. The religionists knew this, and the statists know this. So that's where the issues really relies. It's not on the matter of what the advertisers are trying to sell you. So that's the point that I just wanted to make. I wanted to make it quick and fast. Thank you for listening. This is Victor Pross signing.